Imagine you're making like the most fire beat and you don't know how to arrange it. Like you just have this 8-bar loop, which you know is gonna be legendary, like it's gonna be the best beat you ever done, but you know, you just don't know where to take it. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna show you a couple of arrangement tips, you know, how to arrange beats for placements, how to arrange beats for YouTube, because it's a little bit different. And I'm also going to show you a couple of things which help me stay organized and, you know, just work faster. Now, the way I like to look at arrangement is I like to split into 3 different parts. So first off, we have the sample, of course. So we're going to have the sample arrangement. After that, we have the drums arrangement, which depending on the sample, they're going to be arranged in different ways. Finally, you're going to have the vocals, so the final song arrangement. A lot of people like to think that once you make the beat, like that's it, that's the arrangement. But you know, you should not worry too much about like, oh, my beat is not going to get picked because I didn't do the right arrangement. Because you know, oftentimes whenever you get a beat to an artist and you know they just want to record something, it's not uncommon for an artist to ask, you know, for a shorter hook, you know, just to get the beat rearranged, a longer verse, you know, stuff like that. And that's one thing, if you're selling beats, you know, a big advantage is if you can offer like free rearrangements of your beats. Say somebody buys a beat from you, right? You know, the beat isn't tailored to their exact like song or whatever, but once you hit them up and you offer them like, yo, if you need this beat rearranged, just let me know, I can do it like instantly, free of charge. That's gonna get you a lot of sales. Now let's start with the sample part. I'm gonna play the sample here so you hear what it sounds like. Here we have 4 parts. So we have the guitar, obviously, we have the Rhodes, we have the bass, and then we have some vocals. The way I like to arrange samples is I always put like every single layer at the start. I want it to sound as catchy, as big, like I just want to get the idea across like from the moment you press play. Now, a lot of people like to say that you shouldn't put all the sounds in like the intro, but the way I do it is I just put everything. So the moment you press play, you know what's coming. If something grabs you, like you're gonna make that decision like the first 3 seconds. So yeah, if you want to increase your chance of, you know, having your sample picked and used, just put the whole idea at the start, at the first 8 bars. Now moving on, what I like to do is I basically arrange the sample as if, you know, I'm making a whole song. Here we have the intro, right? And then I would just usually put whatever is the hook. So basically it's just gonna sound like this. You know, this is where the drop happens. So the sounds are like a little bit toned down, but the drums come in. Now, depending on the BPM, if it's like very high, like 150, 160 and higher than that, you would just double this basically. So it's in double time. But if you're around the range of 110 to 140, it's usually just 8 bars for the hook. So essentially we just have the intro. The next 8 bars, we're just gonna have the hook. And for the next 16 bars, we're just gonna have the verse. But, you know, it's gonna have a little bit of variation. So, you know, it goes from this to this. You know, even more toned down. So yeah, that's pretty much how you should arrange samples. You start from the start, put all the sounds, you know, make sure you get the whole idea across in the first 3 seconds, the moment they press play. After that, you tone it down a bit, like make sure it's noticeable, like the whole transition. I'm gonna play it again. Basically, you just want to have like a drop without the drums. And after that, basically, we just have the verse. Now, another thing before we move on to the final song arrangement is staying organized. So this is a big thing whenever it comes to, you know, just being faster, having a better workflow, and, you know, just arranging beats. Now, there are a couple of shortcuts which I use all the time. So I'm just gonna show you guys. You come here to the mix rack. So you click and you hold this and drag it down, and you select all the layers that you want to have. Then you come to this empty mixer swat, and then you're gonna press Control, Shift, and L. So starting from that mixer, it's just gonna route everything moving forward, and then you can just select them all, and change color, and you can assign multiple colors to everything. And then you can do the exact same thing with the drums. That's gonna make mixing everything way faster and so much easier. Another shortcut which I use all the time, so basically whenever you have this arranged, what I like to do is I select this and then I hit Control and B. So it's just basically gonna paste all the sounds to the next 8 bars, and you can just keep clicking this, and it's gonna make it so much easier to just come here and arrange everything like so. Like, it just takes a second. Once we add the drums, you can probably see that the whole beat has pretty much the exact same arrangement as the sample. So we have all the sounds, intro, and this taken out, and then we have the verse. Of course, you're gonna have a little bit of differences here and there. Like here I have a longer verse and I chose not to switch it up. From what I've seen, usually artists, they don't like beats changing too much like in the middle of the verse. Like, they just want to keep flowing and flowing. So yeah, let me just play it with the drums. Like, you can just hear the noticeable drop, like the switch. Like, you can hear where the vocals are supposed to come in. If you want artists to use your beats, the best trick that I've ever learned is you just take a song which a similar vibe, similar BPM to the beat that you're making, and after that you just download the beat, you drag it into your playlist, and then you copy the exact same arrangement. With this in mind, basically what I do is I open this website which is called TuneBat. I come here, I type in the artist's name, and then I just come here and you can see all of the songs like from this artist and the BPM and key that they're in. So what I do is I basically find the song which is the exact same BPM and key. So since our beat is 127 BPM, and in this case the song is the exact same BPM, so what we do next is basically we just take the song, we drag it in FL Studio, and then we just basically copy the whole arrangement from the song. And after that we can even use the vocals to double check that the song is arranged in a nice way. So if the beat flows well with the vocals, then you know that you just have the perfect arrangement. So let me just play it with the vocals this time.
Rapping, baby, I would still be around Mercedes. I knew it was so related. My old bitch was overrated. If you pop that pill, remember niggas full like ounce and feet. If you want that cup, remember niggas full like the F inside your fire inside the whip. When I'm done, I'ma pass around the cash, go pass some more.
So you can see that in this case, like, I've just copied the exact same arrangement as the song. Once you add the vocals, it's basically already beat, like it's arranged perfectly. The best thing about this is once you do this like enough times with enough different songs and beats, you're basically just gonna get a feel for it, and you're just gonna start doing it without even thinking about it. Now another trick which I like to do is whenever you're arranging this whole beat, what I like to do is making these tiny little bit of cuts, like just for a single bar before the next 8 bars come in. So what this does is it just adds even more anticipation and makes the next 8 bars drop even harder. So I'm just gonna play this. It's these little things which you can add to the arrangements to just keep them fresh and keep them going. When it comes to arranging beats for YouTube, the main goal of arranging beats for YouTube is to basically have the longest watch time possible. Now, the easiest way to do that is basically you want to stretch it out until the actual beat drops. So it drops around the 30-second mark. What I like to do is I play 8 bars of the intro, like maybe with a low pass filter, or chopped up or something. And then I just play 8 bars of the whole melody. And finally, around the 25 to 30 second range, that's where the whole beat drops. I'm gonna show you a couple of examples how you can, just extend this whole watch time so your beats do better on YouTube. Here I have this low pass filter. Bars with the melody, and then we finally have the drop. And again, if you're using samples, if you don't have a lot of layers, you don't have to do too much. Even if you're limited to just, 1 layer, 2 layers of the melody, you can flip it and you can make sure that the drums have a lot of variation. In the case of this beat, since I'm using a sample, all I have access to is the melody, and then I have the bass line. Which I also got from one single layer by using the stem separation tool. Of course, you can't just repeat the exact same drums and the exact same melody for 3 minutes, and that's just not gonna work. But here's where you can make your arrangement for YouTube a little bit more interesting. So I make sure to utilize like a ton of cuts. So basically I would have these automations, low pass automations. Then I would make sure that the verse stands out like from the hook. If you take a listen, like this is the verse part, and for 16 bars we have no hi-hat. And another thing which you should be doing is you want to make sure that the beat is giving hints to the artist. So the last 4 bars, the last 2 bars, as I said, you can add small cuts or you can just use automations before the drop. So I'm gonna play this. And that's gonna make the drop even harder. Another thing which you can do is to basically, maximize the watch time of your video so it does even better. Coming up with these creative intros. So basically what I did is I took, a couple of sound effects and created this ambience where, you can create like a little story. Somebody's turning on the radio and, they're flicking through the channels, and then they finally, stop on this. And then we play the sample, which after that we drop into, the chopped up beat. And you can see that we basically extended the whole intro to 30 seconds. After that, since we're once again just working with 2 layers of the sample, what I've done is, as you can see, once again I have these automations and then I have the sound effects, basically these chops. So let me show an example. We have the low pass filter once again. Then we have no hi-hats. So, that's the beginning of the verse. And then we have the scratch effect, which, just drops into the hook. And, it just makes it so much easier for the artist to know what's coming and, freestyle and flow on this. And finally, here's another example of an intro that you can do, which is, gonna make your beat more interesting and, it's still gonna extend the whole watch time of your video. Basically what you can do is you can take the beat and then you can chop the shit out of it. I'm gonna play it and you're gonna hear what I mean. And there you have it. Like, once again, we have like 20 seconds, 20-second intro before the actual, drop happens, and a rapper can start rapping. But still, we managed to, just keep it interesting, make sure that their watch time is going up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a better understanding of how to arrange your beats and how to make them more interesting. If you want to learn how to mix your beats and make sure that your drums are hitting hard like every single time, you can watch this video.